why are you reluctant to give an answer on whether or not you voted for President Obama?
Bill, there's no reluctancy. This is a matter of principle. Our Constitution grants, here in Kentucky, the constitutional right for privacy at the ballot box, for a secret ballot. You have that right. Senator McConnell has that right. Every Kentuckian has that right. And as Secretary of State, the chief election official, I'm tasked with overseeing and making sure that we're enforcing all of our election laws.
The ever-elusive Allison London Grimes there, again, refusing to give a straight answer on whether or not she voted for President Obama. Her non-answer came during last night's debate with Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell as the pair battled out for Kentucky's Senate seat. And joining me now to discuss this race and as well as other issues, political strategist Joe Listingi and Raffi Williams, Deputy Press Secretary for the Youth and Conservative Media arm of the Republican National Committee. How are you doing, gentlemen?
Doing good. Thanks for having us.
All right, Joe, let's start with you. I mean, Chuck Todd at MSNBC called this a disqualifying answer earlier, and then Allison Grimes doubles down on it. You have to wince a little bit, even as a Democrat, when she refuses to answer this question.
Well, her second answer was a lot better than her first. And I'd say the clarification was good that she did that because they needed to clarify that this is a secret ballot, and she is right in that answer. The same could have been said if someone had asked Mitch McConnell when he ran in 2006 whether or not he voted for Bush in 2004. It's fine. In the end, though, she could have just said yes. Everyone knows she voted for the president, so you might as well just kill the story. So from a strategic standpoint, she had two options. She's doubling down on her principles, which isn't a bad move.
Well, maybe she didn't vote for the president. We don't think that's the case, but one reason why she doesn't want to answer. Raffi, let me ask you this right now. Is Allison London Grimes the best weapon for Mitch McConnell right now in his race against Allison London Grimes?
Well, yeah, I mean, she's hurting herself left and right. McConnell's running a strong race and making sure to stick to the issues and hammer her on coal. So I think that she is her own worst enemy in this instance, and she just keeps on doubling down. I hope she does because it's making her look foolish to Kentuckians and to the national media.
Well, you know, do you think at this point, we've seen races around the country tighten up a little bit at this point. Raffi, what's your prediction here? Any chance that McConnell loses this race?
No, there's not a snowball's chance that he loses this race. I mean, this is a very well-run campaign by McConnell, and Grimes has been messing up since the get. So obviously her gaffes and her failures on the campaign trail are catching up with her, and they're going to catch up with her at the ballot box in November.
All right, so we know that Grimes is trying to distance herself from our current president, but at the same time linking herself to a past president, namely Bill Clinton. But Mitch McConnell took exception with that tactic. He said there's no difference between a Clinton Democrat or an Obama Democrat. Joe, what's your take?
Well, I mean, in the end, the people of Kentucky love Bill Clinton, so I think that drawing this distinction doesn't matter. But the gaffe, I got to go back to the gaffe argument because Mitch McConnell made a pretty big one last night when he was asked about his millions of dollars and said, I didn't earn them, I inherited them. And if you want to talk to coal country, you don't talk about inheriting millions of dollars because that's one thing politicians have a problem with. This disconnection between being a normal average voter or average person doesn't go too well when he talks about inheriting millions of dollars. He's living pretty comfortably because of that too. So gaffes go both ways.
Well, that is true. Does that hurt him, Raffi, in your opinion?
I mean, no, it doesn't hurt him because Allison London Grimes, you talk about coal country, she's the one who's tied with Obama and trying to regulate to kill the coal industry in Kentucky, and that's going to matter more to these people. Their livelihood, their ability to support their families are being threatened by the extreme agenda that the left put out there and Grimes supports.
All right, well,
we've heard because coal's been making record profits for the past 5 years. So
I mean, Obama's the one who says he wants to regulate out the industry. So I mean, that's your own president. That's the president's word.
Well, fair enough.
Coal's doing just fine, guys.
We know. Coal's not doing so fine.
No, it is. China's emerging markets, Brazil's emerging markets. The price of coal is up, and profits are going. What's killing coal jobs is technology. Miners are being outsourced by machines. That's
it's been overregulated by the Obama administration. That's what's hurting him.
All right, gentlemen. We can have the debates on the merits of coal and energy.
All around the world, and they're making record profits. $8.4 billion.
Well, another thing.
The coal miners are losing their jobs.
Okay, all right, guys. I want to focus this back on the task at hand here, and that is the politics. We know that both parties are going to come in big with money here. And Joe, I wanted to ask you because there's been a lot of attention paid to the amount of money that the Democrats are spending when they're critical of the Republican Party. Real quickly, 20 seconds. What's your take?
This goes back to our previous statement that this race is not settled yet. A lot of outside interests have vested interests in this race. They're plugging a lot of money in there because they know it's competitive, Republicans and Democrats.
All right, something else we want to talk about, guys, the Democratic strategy right now. Dick Morris says Democrats are using a false flag to steal a majority, essentially embracing a wolf in sheep's clothing tactic, trying to masquerade as independent voters. We'll get that information coming up from you. Plus, we'll talk about Dick's new book, Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation, after this short commercial break. And we welcome you back to America's Forum. I'm John Bachman, sitting in for J.D. Hayworth today. We're picking up our conversation with Democratic strategists Joe Listingy and Raffi Williams from the Republican National Committee. Gentlemen, we were talking about some observations that Dick Morris recently made, saying the Democratic Party is trying to do basically what Bill Clinton did towards the end of his term when he was still in office. Triangulation was a term used then. What he's saying now, Democrats really trying to appeal to moderates while not really being moderate. What's your take, Joe?
I think that's full-heartedly. Every campaign in America is the same, which is the fight for the middle of the electorate. I don't think Democrats or Republicans are trying to be a sheep in wolf's clothing, or a wolf in sheep's clothing, or vice versa even, because the truth is both parties want to speak to the middle. We just have different ways of going about it. I think if you look at the Tea Party on the right and liberals on the left, in the end, we're all fighting for the middle because that's going to decide the election.
Well, Raffi, the middle, moderate's a kind of a dirty word in some wings of the Republican Party. What do you think about Joe's comments?
Well, I mean, I think he's just off base here. Democrats are obviously unenthused about the election coming up. Republicans are very enthused. So Democrats right now are trying to strategize is, how do I appeal to more of the moderates, the conservative moderates, the conservative independents? How do I get them on my side? And so right now, they're trying to distance themselves from Obama. They're trying to convince people that they're not a rubber stamp for this toxic president, because they know that being tied to Obama and the liberal failed agenda is only going to bring them down. And so I think they are trying to play wolves in sheep's clothing right now. You know, they're trying to say that they stand up for local issues, but then they go and vote with Obama and Reid over 90% of the time on most of the issues. So they're not obviously looking out for their home state.
All right, everybody can read more about this in Dick Morris's book called Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation. They can also go to powergrab401.com to get a copy of the book. Let's move ahead. We'll talk about the Clinton legacy a little bit more. An interesting stump speech from Hillary Clinton, getting heckled. I want to get you guys' reaction to how she handled this. Let's play the clip.
Thank you all. It is wonderful to be with you again. They would put millions of our children at risk. You know, there are some people who miss important developmental stages.
Well, there you have Hillary Clinton, the former First Lady, Secretary of State as well, being heckled there in California, actually at a conference about education, so very quick with the pun there. Raffi, you might even have to agree with Joe on this. This was a pretty impressive rebuttal from Hillary Clinton there, considering she has not handled these types of situations very well in the past.
No, I mean, she did a great job handling it, but the thing is, you know, she's a practiced pro. She's been around D.C. and politics for decades now, and so it'd be more surprising if she flubbed it or didn't handle it properly.
All right, Joe, I want to move on to one more campaign issue, and that's down in Texas. Wendy Davis getting really personal against her opponent there, Greg Abbott, the current Attorney General. He is, of course, in a wheelchair. She's released a new ad. Let's play that, and we'll get your reaction on the other side.
Listen, my reaction is that if she wants to attack a guy in a wheelchair, that's her prerogative. As for me, I'm running a different type of campaign. I'm running a campaign that's focused on solving the problems of Texans, like securing the border, keeping Texas #1 for jobs, continue fighting against Barack Obama's EPA that's crushing jobs in Texas. So I will focus on the future of Texas while my opponent continues to attack me.
All right, I'm sorry, that was a response from Abbott to the Wendy Davis ad. Joe, you know, going after a guy in a wheelchair, a lot of folks on all sides of the political spectrum saying maybe not the best idea. What is your take? Good idea, bad idea?
I think this ad that she ran was genius, actually, because if you read the reports coming out of Texas, which is, as we know, if you're from Texas, the only thing that matters is news from Texas, not national news. But what they have said, and what they continue to rehash, is the fact that he got injured and he sued and he made millions, and then after he did that, he changed the law so that no one else could do it after him. So it was a bit of a do what I say, but not as I did type mentality, and it's permeating through. It's all about that part of the message, that attacking him whether or not he's in a wheelchair. He's running for governor. He needs to stand up for his record, and his record was changing tort reform after he received his tort.
All right, interesting choice of words there. I don't think you meant anything by that, but we'll have to leave it there. Joe Listingi, Raffi Williams. Gentlemen, as always, spirited conversation. We'll have you both back for more political conversation here on America's Forum. We roll on right after this short commercial break.